Hello there, and thank you for staying tuned to Lolwe TV. You are just on time to catch your favorite business program segment, Business Tuesday. My name is Eddy, Nydwa. And on today's episode of the program, I have traveled all the way to Athi River to visit Mabati Rolling Mills Company. Now, for those who are not aware of this company, it is one of the outlets that is owned by Safal Group, and I'll be speaking to the Chief Executive of Safal Group, that is none other than Mr. Anders Lindgren. Mr. Anders, thank you for getting time to speak to us, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Eddie. My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Now, first things first, we are battling coronavirus. How has it been on your end?
Well, I think, all of us have gone through both a difficult and also, I think, a very strange time period. End of last year, I think no one could ever anticipate, what would happen, during this time in the whole world. And of course, it's been challenges for us as a business and for, all businesses across the globe.
Okay. Now, when we were walking in with my crew into this facility, we found a number of staff engaging in sanitizing. They were really disinfecting like all the surfaces. Has this pandemic forced you to hire perhaps more staff to do this kind of work?
No, we managed that with with the existing staff. But I think for us, there's been the two very important things you need to do when this actually hits you. The first thing is, of course, to ensure that all your staff is as safe as they ever can be. To give them the right guidelines and directions for how to manage that, both from the environment before they go into the offices and also now, of course, when a lot of people coming back to offices and coming back to the manufacturing entities as well.
Okay. Now, you are the CEO of Safal Group, and when you speak of Mabati Rolling Mills, you cannot fail to speak of Safal Group. For our viewers, what is the relationship between Safal Group and MRM?
Well, I think for many it's a bit confusing because, of course, MRM, Mabati Rolling Mills, are very well known in Kenya, but Safal Group is not so well known. But, very briefly, Safal Group is the whole group of companies where MRM, Mabati Rolling Mills, is one part of that. But we also have operations, for example, in East Africa. We have operations in Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Rwanda. And then we operate out of, have a strong operation down in southern part of Africa as well, through South Africa, Mozambique, Namibia, Malawi, and so forth.
Okay. Now, when you started operations here in the country, it was way, way, way back. And you're continuing expanding year in, year out. So should you expect more expansion in Safal Group business in Kenya?
Well, I really hope so. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us as a company, but I also think there's a lot of opportunity for Kenya as a country as well. Construction is, of course, a good indicator of how the economy works. So hopefully the economy will run and the construction industry will follow that. And of course, we know that there's a lot of infrastructure project by the government, and there's a lot of things happening in the private sectors. So we see a lot of opportunities going forward.
Okay. Now, technology has now become an integral part of the society and a way of doing business today. Thanks to coronavirus, now people are having Zoom meetings, thanks to technology. Now, on your end in the company, how much have you embraced technology? Because I know even the roofing technology has evolved over the years.
You see, as you said earlier, we have been operating in Africa for 60 years, so we're a very old company in Africa and starting in the roofing. So we're actually today, we're transforming the company from only being seen as a roofing company to actually building solution company because we do so much more. But if you focus on the roofing side, the initial product there was normally the galvanized, what you call the GI roofing. And we were, as a group, the first one coming in with an AZ, which actually is both zinc and aluminium coated steel, which is a better roofing product because it protects better from corrosion and so forth. So that we were the first ones in Africa. So on the roofing side, that was one of the really big steps in development. Then, of course, as a group, we do many other things, looking into new technologies, for example, in pre-engineered buildings, looking at solars and many other things to develop. And of course, also like many companies today, one focus area today is also to develop a very strong e-commerce platform because, as you said, we're getting more into virtual type of relationship. And because of that, I think the e-commerce is something that will expand a lot over time.
Okay. Now, one of the key pillars of the President of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta's agenda, has been manufacturing.
Sure.
And you are also now saying you're transforming the company not only to be providing roofing solutions, but to be a building solutions company.
Correct.
How is your company, how is the entire Safal Group of companies now plugging in to enhance this agenda of manufacturing in Kenya?
Well, I think, first of all, I think, we have had, we had a lot of support from government over time, and I think we work through, the different organizations, through the Kenya Association of Manufacturing, through KEPS and so forth. Based on that now, especially I think during the pandemic, we saw some support coming in, the rates were kept lower, we got some VAT refunds back and like that. That's still, of course, like all probably sitting in industry, we think always the government can do more. I think one of the challenges we have, for example, today is, cost of utilities when you actually look at our competitiveness going forward, which I think is, very, very essential, especially for us that runs operations which require a lot of, for example, electricity. So I think that, we work closely with government and closely with the different organizations, to try to improve the climate here. And I think the end game very much here is, of course, to make sure that we manage to create more employment in Kenya, because we know employment is one of the really critical issues today. So we need more people to come in here, more people to manufacture, and more people then to get, that Kenyan manufacturing industry start spinning even faster.
Okay. Now, the Safal Group has also an office in South Africa, in Western Africa, and here in Kenya. What makes Kenya a special hub for you? What makes it attractive?
Well, first of all, as a group, we started here, so that of course makes it a very, this is actually our key operation in the group. We have, of course, very strong brands here, we're well known, and of course we then can operate very well in this market. I think when you take Africa as such, we know that if you take away the North African part of it, there are actually 3 hubs in Africa today, and that is Kenya in the eastern part, we have South Africa in south where we also operate, and then of course we have in West Africa, we have Nigeria. So these are hubs, and I think Kenya has become a hub for many reasons. It's a good location. We have access to the sea, we have ports, we have well-educated, good people in the country, that makes it easy here to both operate, to manage a supply chain and manage operations with the good skilled people available.
Okay. Customers are very integral in any business, because you exist because of your customers. For Safal Group, how do you relate with your customers, or does the relationship end after the cash, after the transaction from the customers, or you enhance it further than that?
No, I think we work in a very, very close chain all the way from supplier up to the end customers, and I think we really try to listen to customers. Actually, our first core value is to have focus on our customers, and I think our organizations are very good at having that. And I think that also shows through how we work with distributors, how we work with the fundis, how we set up specific programs for the fundis to make sure they're rewarded for their efforts, how we try to interact in a way where we manage, the supply and demand and the pricing and so forth into the market in the best possible way. And also we follow up. I had, for example, I saw there was some comments in someone that said they weren't very happy with the roofing results. And then actually we went out there, we rectified, we changed the roofing on that house because something had happened. Just to make sure that we follow all the way out to the end person who actually put the roofing on their house.
Okay. How large is MRM's network of retail distribution in the western part of the country?
No, western. I think for any company today in Kenya, the western part is a very important part of the business. It's a large share of our business, and we have a number of distributors out there, and of course we work very closely with the fundis, the hardware stores, and also we have service center in Western Kenya. So Western Kenya is a very important hub for us in Kenya.
Okay. Not long ago, you were in Kiambu, in Tigoni Referral Hospital, where you had gone there to support the county and also the national government in terms of curbing COVID-19. And it's a good gesture that we've seen many corporates coming in just to help plug in supporting the community. Other than that, what other engagements are you having in the community in a bit just to enhance your relationship with the people?
Well, we talked about core values. Another core value for us is actually care for, employees, communities, and environment. So, under the care for communities, CSI or CSR is a very important pillar for us. We do a number of things. I think specifically during this COVID time here now, we actually went to the government's emergency fund and asked them, where do you need help? They directed us then to Kiambu County and this Tigoni Hospital to build this isolation center, which we actually do with one of these PB solution, which is a pre-engineered building that quite quickly can be rectified, with a good quality building. So we spent quite a bit of money to setting that one up. Unfortunately, it's like this, that sometimes you set something up that you actually hope will not be used, because we hope they will not have to use that isolation center. But I'm sure they will get future use on that in any case. But in addition to that, I believe that, both to show to communities, but also, for employees to feel proud to work in the company, it's very important to engage with communities. So, for example, if you take in Mariakani, where we have our big factory, there we have an education center and we have a health center. The health center there takes more than 30,000 patients every year. And I tell you, we have a very small fee, but even if you come there and you can't afford the fee, we will still take care of you. And we also have an educational center that, unfortunately, in this period now been a bit difficult to operate, but under normal situation, that educational center will certify almost 1,000 students every year in a broad range of educations, everything from hairdressing to mechanical engineering and many, many different areas, just to make it possible for, to get youth out in the working life.
Okay. Now, to another issue is about now resilience. This pandemic has taught companies to build on their resilience. For you, how has it been?
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, one focus area is, of course, to make sure that the employees first are safe. That is the fundamental thing. Yeah? And of course, it comes once again back when I say that care for employees is very important. So, that was our first focus. And I think we worked very well between the group and the local entities when we did that, setting the guidelines. The second one, of course, that you need to do, you need to ensure that you secure business going forward. And of course, by doing that, you're taking a lot of short-term saving actions to really hold on to your cash. And that you do through, for example, the things that you would like to do, you can't do. Maybe you can't raise salaries this year. Maybe you can't pay out bonuses. You have to work a little bit on taking back leave days. You have to make sure that, you cut off maybe contractors and projects, and you reduce your capex for the year as well, and only do what was pre-committed or very, very essential. By that, you can save a lot of cash on an annualized base, and it helped us a lot. We're actually, as a group, on a top line, when you look at volume, we are reduced a bit, but when you look at the bottom line, we're still doing well after this time. But, no one knew exactly how this would pan out over time. So.
Okay. Now, I know many companies have now really cut back on their new investment and also new project that had planned to roll out this year. When this pandemic now subsides, should we look forward to you investing in new opportunities?
Absolutely. You see, I think this is... now we already, when we see the situation did not become as dire as we had anticipated, we need to be very quick out of the starting block with everything. Yeah? So maybe here even you can see, we already starting doing marketing. Marketing was one of the first things you cut back to during a period like this. But we're already starting now in the different companies to drive that. And I think, there are other things, opportunities that we wanted to roll out during this year that we had delayed. And many of those now we start to kick off. Like, for example, what I mentioned to you, this pre-engineered building initiative now, we will actually do much more marketing and start to roll it out throughout the whole group.
Okay. Any short-term or long-term plans that we look forward for the company to unveil, perhaps?
Well, I don't think we unveil a lot of new things. I think the PB side is one of the new things. We're also looking closely, and I think solar is a very good opportunity for us going forward. Probably more on the project side and maybe just the home smaller solar solutions. We also work a lot with trussings. We have Ultraspan as a trussing solution, which is a steel trussing solution, to avoid also all the deforestation we have due to people taking, wood to make the trussings. And then we have a lot of opportunities within traded items, because through good distributors and good market channels, we can actually put a lot of other products in there. So we do a lot of traded items, as we call them, where we also sell products from other companies into our operations, like insulation or fasteners or different things like that. And that's a huge opportunity, which we can just use our strength in distribution to put more products into the portfolio.
Okay. Now, and as we close the interview, Earlier on, you had mentioned about some of how you're working with the government to enhance business environment here in the country. Perhaps are there some key recommendations that you like to see government implementing, like the issue about power? I know power has been very expensive for manufacturing companies. Any other recommendation that will see that will enhance the manufacturing environment?
Well, I think the utility cost is one thing, because of course you want to, you know, make it less costly, more attractive to produce in Kenya. I think there's too many products today coming into Africa that actually could be produced in Africa, but then of course you need to create a facilitating environment for that. And I think, as I said earlier, you know, there's some things done with government. I think the utility is one thing we can focus more on. I think sometimes we struggle also to get, you know, VAT payments back, and of course we want, I guess the government want to support manufacturing companies for export, and then of course you need to also make sure that that money comes back into our operation. So I think these are two areas. I also think it's important that, you know, we can showcase what we're doing. We have a fantastic plant in Mariakani. I would like to show that not only for our own benefit, but also to show for, you know, for people from the outside who are thinking about maybe investing into Kenya, just to show how operations can be run, because you have good people, you have a good environment to run very, very good business in Kenya, and I want people to understand it from the outside, also to just facilitate people starting to invest into Africa and Kenya.
You appear to exude a lot of confidence on the standards that the plant that you have in Mariakani. Why?
Well, you know, I normally say that, you know, it's actually a plant, believe it or not, that you could actually eat your breakfast off the floor in a steel plant. That's how clean that is. It is a fantastic plant. We're very proud of that plant. And I think that plant shows, of course, that we get quality material out of that. And I think it's also good just for, you know, the workers, people being in that environment. It means so much to have a good working environment. And of course, if you're in a nice factory to operate, you're proud of that factory. And by that also, you know, you create a much better ambience, more motivation, you know, and overall more commitment and a more energetic workforce through that. Okay. And as I said, you know, to use that as a showcase to people, I think is a good opportunity. And I think we have many plants like that also in Kenya that can be showcased to outsiders. And I think this is something we need to get going, to get more investments into Kenya and take care of the key problem we have in Kenya, which is around employment.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anders. That's unfortunately all the time that we had. Now, that has been the CEO of Safal Group, Mr. Anders Lindgren, and he was speaking to me, and he exuded confidence that indeed African nations can manufacture a lot of the products that they are now importing into Africa. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now. My name is Eddy Nydwa.